Let's try a different approach in how to model this hand vacuum. And instead of building a full body in this tutorial, we're going to construct only half of the body and then use the mirror option of the different layers, the symmetry function, to basically interactively show you how the other non-existing half would look like. So let's get started. What we do first is, for example, in side view, sketch the upper profile curve. So I go to curves, and with my Alt key, I press and create my first point. Make a second one, third, and maybe here I position my last point. Then I can go into the CV mode and into move mode and move it slightly down. This point, for example, I move with the middle mouse button a little bit to the right. And then those 2 points I reposition freely with my left mouse button. Okay, so that looks quite good. Now I can create the inner curve, and I can, for example, let's say maybe start here, and then I have to guess a little bit now how many points I might need to draw this profile curve. And then here to make sure that this point is at the same height as this point, temporarily I'm going to make use of my snapping to the grid with the Alt key, and then I go to the move mode and reposition those points. And as it looks like, I might have 1 or 2 points maybe too much. Maybe this one I could remove. So I select a point and press the delete key. Then the curve gets simplified a little bit. And that's pretty much what I'm looking for. So a little bit more tweaking. And this also seems to be a good set. Okay, so now it's time to create, for example, this vertical curve and those 2 arcs that are on the horizontal plane. And I can again start with my CV curve. And let's say I start up here. Then I can press the Control key or click on the point snap. Make my first point snap to the end of that curve. Could go into the front view and then press my middle mouse button and drag a point out, and then maybe with 1 or 2 points finish this curve. I need to do a little bit of adjustment and middle mouse button here as well, because I would like to make sure that this point and this point will remain perfectly horizontally, so that this curve, when we mirror it over, flows nicely into the upper, the left side, so we do not get a kink. So it's again the tangency that's important for the surface curvature. Now let's do the same with the 2 curves here, but this time I show you a different approach, and I'm going to place my point here again, pressing the Control key. Then I can go into top view, and I'm just clicking those points first. And before I do anything else, I'm going to use now an align tool for the symmetry to make sure that the beginning of this curve to this axis will be symmetrical. So what does that mean? Let's go into top view so you can see what will happen. Pay attention to where all those points are. And if you go to Object Edit and select the symmetry for the align plane, then it asks you to select a curve or surface near a symmetry plane. So this thicker line, that is basically a symmetry plane. So then I can click close on this curve that is close to the symmetry plane. When I click, you see that this point was pushed down. Now this point is parallel or tangent basically to this point, and those 2 points are tangent to this construction plane. The nice part is I could, for example, select this point, then I go into move mode and maybe change my curvature a little bit. And when I select maybe this point, and now I, for example, move it along the x-axis down, you will see that the other point snaps with it. So the align command makes sure that the second point after the first point will always be aligned perpendicular to the construction plane, so that the curve that's created will be perpendicular to the construction plane, and then when it flows into the other curve, the connection will be tangent. Now this curve point I have to push back, so I could press Ctrl, click on this point, or not. Sometimes alias is a little bit funky there. Let's do this again. And again. Okay, other way. I turn on the snap and then press there. So what's alias doing right now? Let's turn this off. Okay, now let's press the move command. Oh, that was the wrong one. Okay, and now press Ctrl, and there it snapped. Okay. So it was important that you go the move command, and then maybe with the left, right, or mouse button you restrict the direction, and then you press Alt key, because otherwise alias, as you can see, gets a little bit confused. So let's do the same also with the other curve. So maybe in top view I go and sketch a curve. No, actually I would like to start here. So I press Ctrl, click, snap my first point to the beginning, and then click 3 times more to create those points. And then I do the same with the symmetry align again for this curve. Click there, and you see this point was pushed down, so that is nice and symmetrical. And we can also do the same with here, just to make sure that not by accident later we might move any point and then change the tangency of the mirrored curve. Because every time when I move one of those 2 points, it will still remain tangent, because we are applying the align tool at the same time. Okay, so that's quite good. Maybe we can create the opening for our handle here. I'm going to rotate this and then maybe scale it down, maybe move it over a little bit. Yeah, something like this. That is good. And I feel like I have way too many spans, so maybe 6 spans. So yeah, you see I have less points I need to work with, and I still get the same nice soft curve. And then I could go into the CV editor here and then go into the local move. Actually, I need to go into local scale here. So pressing the right mouse button to scale those buttons, those points together, and then this point maybe along the x-axis out. Yeah, those 2 points maybe to there, and this one can go back. Okay, then also is pretty good. And now we have created all the necessary profiles.